Hey, I'm Todd. Thanks for choosing to watch my video, and if you would subscribe it, like it, all that stuff, that'd be great. Otherwise, enjoy the video, and I hope it gives you the information you need and is helpful to you. Take care.
Front brake pad replacement on a 2012 Toyota RAV4. Like to take the wheel off, get your lug nuts. Of course, we'll jack up the vehicle. Have a nice pinch weld here, and then also there's some good metal here. You can jack it up and use safety stands. Protect yourself. Break the lug nuts loose. A turn or two, all bolts and nuts are left to loosen, right to tighten. So break them loose a turn or two and jack up the vehicle. Take the lug nuts off the rest of the way, and then you'll see your brake rotor, brake caliper mount, and outer brake pad and inner brake pad. Go ahead and turn the so the caliper is outside facing you, easier to get to. Alright, well, the steering wheel is locked. You can unlock it and then turn the wheel to make it easier to work on. I'm going to stick a screwdriver in here and collapse the piston. You can usually get it to grab in here somewhere. Usually you can catch the edge of the rotor, but I think I'm inside the rotor in the vane. So once you collapse it, then you can get in between the brake pad and the rotor. And collapse it. We want to check caliper slides and make sure the piston collapses before we go too much further. If you can't collapse the piston or the caliper slides don't move, then you might consider just getting a new caliper. So that's pretty good right there. I'm trying to get inside the outer pad. And that way also we've now collapsed our piston, checked our slides, we're good to go, and when we take the caliper off we don't have to collapse the piston because it's already collapsed. 14mm. Take this bolt out. So there's also a place here you can get a wrench on this intersection. It's probably a 17 if you need to. There's our 14. You can actually just slide this up probably. Nope, not enough slack in the hose to flip it up. Oh, there's an ant.
Yep.
Seen a little bit of a rash of transmission / clutch issues. What's going on? It wasn't even that hot of a summer. Slide in and out of a channel. Pretty thin. We probably got 17 millimeter bolts for the mounts. We'll break those loose as well. 1/2-inch breaker bar and a 17 millimeter. The rotor should slide off. If it doesn't, it has 2 bolts, usually 8. The size is a 8 by 1.25, maybe 40 millimeters long or something like that. Those are metric sizes. And you can put them in there and it'll force the rotor off, or tap it with a hammer. You should get this machined or replaced. And what I almost always say is, if money's super tight, you can just put some pads on there after taking the caliper off. Take the old pads off, put the new ones on, but you can have pulsation issues still due to a warped rotor or brake noise, because this can be like a record. It's got grooves in it, and you put new pads on the old rotor, it might sing like a record, squeal. That is removing your front brake pads and rotor on your 2010 Toyota 4Runner.
The problem is Robin bonus, because we put a transmission in this one.
Oh.
We don't work on it, but he had him towed in to do transmission, so therefore it's on the radar.
We're on his radar. Yeah, something like that. Radar. You can clean these up real well with a rag or something, or replace them with new ones.
Cool. Yeah.
Bye now.
Woodward. Okay.
Got our inner pad, the clip here. We'll just throw 2 more of those in there, then I'll be done for the caliper, and we'll go back to the brakes on the car. Alright, so we slid our rotor on here. We have one that says there's a brownish color on here, is a rust preventative material that will be removed during the initial brake system. Do not clean rotor surface. So we're not going to, but if you don't have that kind of rotor, then you do need, and there's an oily film on it. You do want to wash the oily film off with some warm soap and water, and then dry it off with a towel. So we got it on there. We're going to mount our caliper mount, and then pads. give you the torque specs in a bit for that. I did put a little lubricant on the ends where it slides in here as well. Just on the tips, don't get any lubricant on the pads. Almost fits. Use a large C-clamp or channel locks to just collapse it the rest of the way. And I will give you the torque specs in a second here, and torque them down, and then we'll of course do both sides same way. And then when you're done and have it all torqued down, step on the brakes a few times to get the piston to collapse and set everything in place. Then we will check and top off or remove brake fluid as necessary at the master cylinder, which also we'll see in just a second. Alright, so here's our master cylinder for the Toyota RAV4. Little cap, just kind of squeezes on, squeezes off. Friction fit deal here. Kind of see the maximum line on here. We're a little over right now. So we can suck some out with our fluid extractor to put it to the proper level. We have pumped the brakes a few times so everything is set in place, and that's the fluid level. There's the minimum level, kind of hard to see down below the seam. So just keep an eye on that. You don't want the brake fluid flowing out. Brake fluid can damage paint and just be troublesome. So keep an eye on it. Keep it from overflowing. Keep it from going below the minimum, and you should be just fine. If you're collapsing pistons, you can take a little bit out. So when I collapse the pistons, the fluid level comes up, which is what I did. So there you go. Brake master cylinder right there. Good luck to you.